order. First item up is consider additions or adjustments to the agenda. Are there any additions or adjustments to the agenda?
I would like to make an addition. Executive session after item number 7. To talk about the Johnson General Store.
Any other additions or adjustments?
Possible addition, hydrant at the skate park and next steps.
We could do that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any others? Okay. Next item up is review invoices and orders. I believe they'll be going around right now. Are there any comments or concerns on the invoices and orders? They both has a question about 2 items. One is an invoice from Howard Romero. There is Dale Pedro and how we would like to pay for the municipal building. There's still some work to do,
Yeah.
but how would the board like to?
So final walkthrough was okay, except for stones around the perimeter and floodgates. So question is, can we pay Dale what's remaining of the 47,800 due to him per contract, minus the 28,000 for the floodgates once they arrive, and after completion of perimeter stone.
How the board feel about that?
It's about 19,200, I think, is what we would pay him after he finishes the stonework. But if that's would allow him to move forward without waiting 2 weeks to the next select board meeting, it would allow the invoice to be paid. It's per the contract. We held on the amount, and Rosemary just asked me for your permission to pay him however you see fit.
I'm comfortable with the plan you just put out there. So move to pay Dale Tatro for work on the municipal building,
Less the amount due for floodgates
less the amount due for floodgates
once the completion of the stone is.
and completion of the stone work.
Motion to second. Second.
Guess what that is.
$19,200.
That's
We're withholding 28,000. We put the contract out to meet. This was anticipation of CRC, the Cost Recovery Center from FEMA. If you break out your contract, so each item is specific, you can get money obligated as steps are done, because you're essentially making mini phases for your project, and that allows FEMA money to roll in faster. And we've actually been obligated for this whole project regardless of that. But so that amount for floodgates is very specific to 28,000. It's not a total project cost. You had to break out every step.
Yeah, is that going to be something? So that
At this point, once it's done, we send it to the state. The money's already in the state's hands.
so if
But the way to the building is, the envelope is complete, so floodgates would have to be in place.
I thought you said hold it.
Correct.
If we pay the 19, so
We have to wait. Yeah, they're not going to pay us until we've protected the public infrastructure.
the
He ordered them last week, the floodgates, and I think they're 4 to 6 weeks out. They're coming from a company called Trudor out of Arizona. And the stonework will be completed. They're pouring concrete tomorrow at the library. They're doing the infills. And then they're gonna form up while that cures for the grout between the foundation and the building. Once the form work is done, they'll come back and finish stone. And then once that's done, they'll go and pour grout after the infill is
that color work? Well, so.
I think on the whole perimeter.
That stone went down. Certainly.
I can make that request, yeah.
Yeah. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on invoices and orders is an invoice from Howard Romero. If we sign the orders, I believe he paid out for the order.
How much are we gonna discuss about this in open session? For one, did it actually have to be moved at the time of the plan? Because it was never decided for sure where the permanent location. So I would have thought if it was moved, if it had been moved one time from where it was existing to the permanent location, instead of just pulled out away a few feet from where it originally was. And then we have a bill for $2,500 for moving it and a bill for $1,320 for him for supervision. If it happens again when they finally put it in the permanent location, it's going to be another charge.
Stand by came to us for a committee report. I think Howard was pretty clear in his communication that the rush to get it out of the way of the library was health issues for the contractor. You leave it at that. That was just a big yank to get it out. I don't want to discuss the person.
I don't see what a little gazebo is gonna affect something. But anyway, Mr. Chairman, excuse me.
I have a question of the contractor's availability.
Approved like the contract. Approved supervision, so I would like Howard to come and talk to us and put it on the agenda.
Okay. So are we okay with approving the order minus $1,320 per invoice? Good.
With that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we pay Michael Lanfear talk to Howard.
Okay, yeah, is there a second?
Yes,
Speaker seconded. Now in discussion.
One of the questions I have with regard to Howard's bill is that a reasonable expense to submit under the grant money that we have? In other words, my suspicion that this is not going to be paid for the Johnson accident.
Well,
Expense. So,
I think we have some conceptual there's some issues whether or not it was disclosed that a regular volunteer was getting paid for supervision of there was no request for work to be done. The building was moved due to health reasons of a contractor, but it was not done out of necessity for timing for any other project happening at Legion Field. And so I think that's a clear distinction. The invoice for administration and supervision of that amount for a one-day move is quite extensive. And it also is out of the blue. And I think it would be nice to talk to the person, hey, why did this come up? And I do agree. I think Adrian's right on the right point.
Savannah,
I got a random email from Rosemary, the same one you got, but I never saw the invoice. Did you see the invoice?
I suspect that. So.
All in favor, say aye. Public comment? Yeah. There you go. Next up is select board issues or concerns. Are there any concerns from the select board? None, we're moving on. So, yeah, we. I just found out. We've seen that before. Next up is consent agenda, so for the public. Nation consent agenda is minutes from June 2nd, June 9th, June 16th and July 2nd, accepting the resignation of John Eaton, Conservation Commission. Approve the final version of the appointment policy and a plan purchase ended up on me this one, the pretty straightforward and talking board. So if the approved consent agenda moves forward, that would include a range of $9,066 to $9,901 for server replacements, which was already planned for under the capital budget.
I moved to approve A, B, C. And B.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay, further discussion?
With thanks. Just a resignation. With thanks.
Okay,
Is that okay?
That's fine.
motion and secondary, good with that?
I think let's do accept.
Yes.
Where they, better.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Yes, have it. I would like to handle item number D.
right, that's it. I like to hear it.
Are they, is this like typical cost for? For
Well,
towns?
we obviously, we have a contract with an IT group. And Rosemary had asked me, again, this is a very awkward position for me to be in, that I have no authority really over the the building maintenance. And that it's shared with the village, right? So I'm making all of this research, doing all of this research for Rosemary, who's in control of the server. When I work for you, so it's very touchy with also shared infrastructure. But I took a couple months to get a quote from the tech group and it was 19,175. And my alarm bells went off that this is like insane. There was $8,000 of professional support. I called the person who I used to use for tech, where I used to work prior, and they came back with a quote of a range from 9,000 to 9,900. While I was in Peachum, I had a server replaced too, and it was $7,000. So that felt reasonable. That was also 5 years ago. So I think it felt reasonable. It felt good. I went to Rosemary and she wants to have it done based on fiscal year 25's budget. So it doesn't fall on fiscal year 26 and any expenses that need to happen for that year. Yeah, so the tech group and Superior Communications, I had a meeting with both of them at the same time. Our contract is just for IT support. It's not for hardware replacement. So we're getting hardware replacements strictly from Superior Communications, and they're both okay with this. But I wanted to make sure everything was going to be copacetic, that maintenance would follow with it for our contract. And so we're essentially ending up with the same product, just in new hardware. The transfer is going to happen by Superior Communications, but it's going to be checked off, I guess, is that the right word, by the tech group to make sure everything went appropriately. And so that way we're paying an IT person $110 an hour versus that $140 an hour from the tech group, and then just quite a markup on the server itself. It's the same machine. It's just
Here it is. Right, you're gonna fix it. Yeah, Check our calendar.
Yeah. We're currently out of contract and we're working month to month. This came up in December. I've been having a really hard time trying to navigate a meeting with both Rosemary, and we have to work with the village on this because it's shared services. And at this time, Eric has not responded to that request. He's not interested in looking into other tech companies. The town is, and Rosemary is also willing to consider it. But so we're at a standstill. What do you do when you have shared computers, shared server? One side wants to keep the existing IT person, the other side is not, would like to look elsewhere. Even the RFP process becomes complicated when you can't come to the table on that issue. So I think at this point, the solution has been month to month until something else comes up. Once this project is done, Superior Communications will have a better understanding of our needs and resources, and then they're going to come back with a quote for what it would be to do the same work that the tech group does. They're unaware of what the tech group is charging, so it'll be. But I did ask they would provide an IT services quote. They did work for St. Albans for a while, Milton, I think, or maybe St. Albans. So they do other municipal work. They're familiar with it. And Superior, yeah. But I think what I'm most fascinated is to see what their quote is and compare it to the tech group. And if it's way off, then that would be the justification to go to the village and say, hey, let's have an RFP. Right now, I don't really have a leg to stand on to say, I just want a different IT group. But having those numbers come in, if they're the same, I'll probably continue with the tech group, right? But if they're off and the Superior Communication is much less, then I think we would have good argument to put out an RFP for IT services.
Are we at a point, if we are locking ourselves into another 5 years by purchasing a spare jointly?
I asked,
the basic concept I'm trying to get at here. Would this be a particular, let's say,
love to do that. And I think it's brilliant, right? It's a great idea. But the issue is we share computers and we share employees. So this way our employee who's 60/40 is going to have to like, hold on, let me get on the town side. Hold on, let me get on the village side. So you have two computers networked differently. We also might have to rewire the building for each station to have two. We've created an overly complicated gray area with the village. The shared services is not ideal.
well, in less circumstances, it should work.
Yeah. Well, I think as we get later on the agenda, you'll see this joint meeting. And one of those things I'd love to talk to is just, sure, we can own property together, but we need to have an MOU of who makes decisions. And like, that's it. One board is in charge of this building, doesn't matter which one. But then the IT goes away. Although all these issues go away if we can just get down to one board making a decision on each location. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about that later in the agenda.
So the immediate question is whether
The server, ours has already been 1 year without being able to be, I don't know what the right word is, serviced. Microsoft stopped updating. That's the server 2016. This is the 2025, I guess. I think is what it says in the quote. So it's no longer being supported. That's the word.
So Superior Communications has given us basically estimate. Basically ironclad. 19,175. We're gonna get a tightened up quote.
To be agreeable to and not to exceed the high end.
I just like to see.
It's still $10,000 less. Yeah. Less.
Nice stuff.
It's like
You graded.
All right. I think as we move this on, I think there's great ideas. I think the ramifications are, we're holding money out for this from fiscal year 25, which closed on July 1st. And by delaying this decision, just know that that money is not available and we're gonna use 2026 money for this decision. And yeah, I think it's slated already to go to the capital building fund. It's from the office capital equipment and then it slides into so I think we would just have to make that distinction. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there? Right, so.
I would recommend it. Again, I'd like to reiterate that I'm in a very awkward position helping Rosemary with this and also trying to work with the village. So an RFP would clean that up as well.
Okay.
I prefer, like to see. It. Say. That's it.
Well, you would just have different tech companies to say, what's the cost to update our server? I think the dollar amount is what triggers. Okay.
Two quote.
How many more would you like? And then I'll get them, yeah.
Some. Yes. Yeah. When I look at the two quotes, one for 19 and one for 9. That's pretty big, right? You know, maybe we won't get it done any cheaper, but if we could spare. It's
2 to 3 more.
Perfect. Clear as day.
Evan, what about tonight?
Does that help?
Does.
Right now, it's time for us to scale.
Yeah. Separate. Well, I'm sort of.
Rely on our own, they wanna. They have. Storage. Space be $100. So.
More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First.
I'm saying, here, we're not. It doesn't seem as morning, but.
I think that leads us to a bigger question.
Yeah, joint meeting, right?
Yeah.
What are we gonna go for, 4 quotes?
What's a 2 or 3 additional, which would be 4 to 5 total.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up, the executive session. 16 minutes late, so we'll run over for the. Without entertaining a motion, go into executive session. Negotiation or securing a real estate purchase or lease option as allowed by 1 VSA. 13A2. Inviting.
Beth? Yes, Dave Berg, president, and Art Lugo, consultant.
But I think.
Yeah.
Second. I'll make the move.
And be an amendable to all executive session for security or emergency response, and then that's one of the BSA 313 and A, inviting Roger McPhail. Certain members will come and leave. Folks like enough.
Good with the mover.
That's good.
It's good with the
Second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, and the board entering executive session at 6:58. I'm fine with the RFP,
I think your reasoning is sound. Yeah, but
Okay, so we're holding off on the RFP. Maybe make a footnote, bring it back up in January, we could be ahead of the 12 months, but
Did Jason talk to you about this? Phone or
no. Or something like that.
No, I'm just wondering if maybe you had more details than I had, or I had more details than you had. Sometimes he talks to us separately.
So donation. I just have the plan. It's over with. Next up, I believe we've already covered the revolving loan fund, the general store. Is there anything that you'd like to add for the library relocation, Tom?
Library relocation is, we're still waiting on a surveyor to do final elevation for then we can put out the bid, but we need to stamp those site
I
plans.
saw them there like 10 days ago.
Mark?
The surveyor was there a few days ago.
Great. Yeah, as soon as that final number comes in.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, so it's great to hear. And that's waiting on that. That'll go to civil. The engineering will be no longer stamped, not for construction, but stamped to finalize. Then, as soon as that happens, we can apply for fire and safety, and then we can put out the bid. We'll have a complete bid set at that point, and then we'll put out for our general contractor. The building itself, they're pouring the concrete infills tomorrow, which is really exciting. They'll probably the next day, they'll pull those forms, and then they'll form up the top line with the grout, that 2-inch grout line all the way around. And that has to be poured separate from the infill. One is a concrete spec, one is a grout spec. And so that'll probably be poured hopefully the end of this week, the grout line, but they have to wait for the infill secure enough to support the grout above. And then in that downtime between waiting for cure and pouring the grout, we'll be back to the library to start back at the municipal building, finish up there.
Any questions about the library?
It's kind of unrelated, but do you know if the architecture firm, are they making like any other designs that they're gonna show to us? Or like colored designs or
You mean like just the drawings?
like 3D models or like anything cool?
You want like a
No, I think
color elevational drawing, it's
Yeah.
not conceptual drawings.
he draws them in pencil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are elevations. Have you seen the bid set to go out? Okay. Those are
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if we want to pay him to do colored pencils.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
is when you say we put it out for an RFP for a general contractor, is the architect preparing an actual written set of bid specifications, or are those just all included on the plan sets?
There is a bid set there's an architectural bid set, a civil bid set. Mechanical bid set, electrical bid set, they're all compiled when it goes out to bid.
But he's talking about a spec book.
In written format, or are they just on the sheets?
I don't know, I don't think there's a bid book. I think it's just on sheets.
And is somebody putting together a bid form for each of those projects? I bid X based on this bid specification. How are we gonna evaluate?
So once those civil drawings are done, we're gonna have a powwow with the architect and say, okay, who's leading the bid process? And that's probably the architect will, if not civil will, and it's. I'm sure they'll, I mean, they've done this before, I'm sure they'll probably. Have something ready, I don't know, you know, this is, the architect is kind of driving the ship at this point, so.
Shouldn't we be driving the ship?
Well, I mean, it's our project, yes, but he's gonna produce a product ready to go out to bid, and then it's gonna go to the board. And then approved to go out to bid, and at that point, we'll know what's missing and what's asked for.
You think that architect was a little on the slow side?
Can you
I
run me,
think this project has mobilized the fastest of any municipal project I've ever heard of. He has been extremely quick. Yeah,
can you run me by that process again?
where would you like me to start?
They're gonna provide us prints. We're gonna write the specification.
No, we're not writing anything. Not that I'm aware of.
I think you said we're gonna approve the.
Yeah.
Sets.
So, you know, once all the things are done, then you have a. Say, okay, it's all come together, ready to go to bid. There's gonna be some, they're gonna have their part of like what the bid needs to include. The town will add its couple of paragraphs for, you know, just non-discriminatory language and. Who to reach out to, you know, to fill in the blanks for, to make it relevant to town of Johnson. And then once it's all together and done, it'll go to the board and say, okay, board. To the library, may have looked at it first and say, okay, this looks good, then it's gonna go to the board, okay, we're ready to go. You know.
So,
How would you like it to go? That's a better question.
well, I have a question. If. The architects are putting out. A specification for electrical and what did you?
There is,
No, that's Jerry Marshall.
yeah, there's an
Maybe
election.
the MEP engineer,
But,
mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
yeah. And wouldn't, under normal circumstances, wouldn't. There be one bid from a general contractor that includes. His own. Subcontractor price for mechanical and plumbing, et cetera.
Yeah,
Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Okay,
So the mechanical engineer works for the architect. We don't pay the architect. So the architect is has to pull it all together.
well, the architect isn't the general contractor.
They are not, right? You don't have one yet. You have to put it out to bid to find one.
And that's my question. Under normal practice, you'd put out. An entire package
Yeah.
where the general contractor would submit one bid, which included mechanical, plumbing. Blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. I think we're saying the same thing in different ways.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna get one number from one person to do it all. With the breakdown as.
And he's gonna have subcontractors who will do the mechanical and the plumbing and the electrical.
That'll probably show up in the bid response, yeah.
Okay.
okay. Where are we at funding wise?
Rosemary's not here for final numbers, but we're pretty much on target for $300 to $400. I think $300 to $350 a square foot. Our budgeted amount for the addition, we're on track for. So,
Are you kidding?
no, we're doing great, yeah. So I think we've spent somewhere, last I checked, it was 600,000 with anticipated costs about 750 total for the finished foundation of that. And then now we have another million to do 3,400 square feet. And so multiple, you know, you divide that out by,
Yeah, I know. Okay,
so I mean, if we're short, it's gonna be a little bit, or maybe we're under, you know? It all depends, but the addition is wide open. It's not a lot to it. Most of the
Okay.
expense is from the mechanic. And
And when we get to the point where we actually are looking at. Real numbers from a general contractor. You and or Rosemary or somebody will have us. A figure of what we've already spent, what we've got available, so we can compare. I guess what I'm getting at is. If there's a big delta between what the anticipated cost is based on. Actual submitted estimates. I wanna know who's gonna pay the difference, I guess, or can we figure out what we build less, or?
It's already under process, yeah, the library, that little subcommittee is having an active, every time the architect says, I wanna put a cupola on. It's like, okay, well, plan B is no cupola. Or we want natural trim to match the old building, but we also need to know, but plan on painted trims. So that those cuts are already being worked in, so if the build, that delta is way too much. There's already like a penciled in second best option ready to go, just in case.
Yeah, well, that's the first time I'm hearing about that, it's great news.
Great.
That's great news, I have heard.
So,
One of those spoilers.
Okay, anything more on the library? Industrial park? Guess we're waiting on me for review, right?
yeah, on Thursday, we're meeting for, it's called a lot design, which is part of the Act 250 process. Which is pretty good. It's really exciting that permitting is going to move forward. I think once this NEPA comes back, it's gonna be light speed ahead. Carl and I have been meeting once a week, and just kind of bringing each other up to speed on everything, and it's been going great. And things are really clean and smooth.
Questions on the board? Next up, Murph.
Before we move on, I just wanna be clear. When we talk about that, we're not talking about putting housing up there at this point, right?
Nobody wants housing with the industrial park.
Merck, RFP next steps. I believe Tom is providing a recommendation to the board that we should put out our own RFP to solicit bids for installation. They look for direction from the board on that. It seems like a good recommendation to me, but
Yeah, I mean, we agreed to go with LCPC's kind of countywide, but
they didn't have a perfect response for our setup.
Just-
They had a good response.
yeah, I mean, we still have to do all the work. There's still work to be done, so we might as well do it ourselves and put that money towards the work rather than 20% for somebody else watching.
Is the board comfortable with us looking at our own RFP for installation of the town garage?
Yes,
Municipal energy resiliency program.
yes, or maybe we should like rethink the scope of it. Or-
We only have so much money.
Yeah, there was only so much money and there was a study done.
Yeah, the whole BGS process has been a moving target for.
I'm just following the board here. Adrian said yes. Peter,
Yes,
Mike,
Whatever.
Duncan.
So I just for point of clarification, the MERP RFP that you're referring to is the one that LCPC put out,
Yeah,
and that was, it really doesn't fit with
our
our.
project's too small. Yeah,
Okay,
and then
I'm
honestly,
gonna go.
I think it's most of them, so.
Okay, looks like you have direction from the board. Put out an RFP for the town of Johnson. For the installation of the garage. Next up is parking at Old Mill Park for concerts. I believe this is a request from Howard and he was here very, very shortly. And told me that the board needs to know that they only would like to use that parking area. For emergencies, only if the overflow parking is needed, it would be the primary parking location. I have delivered Howard's message to the board. His exact request is to be able to use the salt shed sand staging area for parking for the two concerts. Which is now, I was having it Old Park, correct, Tom?
What's your reservations about that?
I have two children, one's 11, one's 8, and if there's a pile of anything, it takes an act of God to keep them off the top of it. And once you open those gates and you start parking cars there, there's gonna be kids all over that sand and salt pile, like in a heartbeat. Like, I don't know if you saw the dirt piles behind the library, but that was the #1 play spot after school.
yeah, Yeah.
Without, so that my reservations is like. Some major liability there that we are unaware of. We're gonna have to look at that space completely different when it's isolated for just highway work. Versus having it for public parking, it's just gonna take a thorough evaluation of risk.
He's not saying like attendees will park there, he's just saying for emergencies.
Well, emergency overflow parking.
Maybe so no overflow, but just emergencies.
Well, I'm pretty sure an emergency is gonna wanna be where the emergency is.
Yeah,
Does anybody know where they're gonna stage the bands? On the fields? I mean, there's 10 acres there. They can't find enough places to park cars on 10 acres?
What if we just open up the lower field to park, open that gate? Or
Yeah.
open the soccer field up on the other gate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a hard time.
Then you're gonna have somebody spinning their tires.
And have power with an orange vest and 2 columns.
Which has happened before, but parking.
I can't. think
Yeah,
of
we had to put big
address.
stones in there to keep people off the fields.
Haven't
That's
even
right.
heard of something that's happened since
Yeah.
I've been on the select board.
I don't know, I'm
Well,
having a hard time figuring out why they can't find enough places to park people there. I mean, you've got all of that road, all the way in, people can park along the edge of the road. People could park in the parking. Next to the food shelf.
Yeah.
You know, I personally think they should close the gates. Into the municipal complex that night. Make parking available. Along, you know, where people are currently parking at the food shelf.
Yeah, you can't have anybody in the municipal area.
I don't think,
The
yeah,
board,
Close
is the
the-
Yeah,
board
I-
comfortable with Tom using his discretion to open up a gate? Well, at like the baseball diamond, if they're. Having.
would there be any objection to parking at the lower, I mean, there'd be a lot of places to park cars at the lower building.
I think there'd be a lot of complaints from the village because they're using that as their primary garage, which is fine, but.
Oh, they are
just
right now.
understanding that there could be emergency water needs, emergency power needs.
Yeah.
They are utility, they do have to.
Yeah.
Get to those, so they need to be able to get in and out.
I didn't realize that they
Um,
were using that right
With
now.
Isabel, because she has the access to both those gates on either side. And that kind of get a meeting with Isabel and TNL to say, okay, where's the band? What makes the most sense for parking and have them.
Why don't you get with her and do it, but no parking by the salt shed.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I would lock the gates into the municipal complex
Yes.
too.
That's a.
Mhm.
number one.
Is the whole board okay with that idea?
yeah,
Looks like you're good to go, Tom.
Yeah.
Get with Isabel and Tuesday Night Live. And while we're at getting with Tuesday Night Live, and we've discussed that the village needs access. Could you have Tuesday Night Live? Get in touch with Eric to see if there's special signage that could be put up to make sure that,
I think we have one meeting and do it all. That would be great.
well, I just
Yeah.
wonderful. There's consideration for the village and to be able to get in and out for their utility emergencies.
Yeah, if they're really using the building, they may wanna place a barricade and no parking. Yeah,
Which-
that could certainly be the village responsibility to do that.
That would be fine if that's what they're using as primary, I just. Just needs to be thought given to it, which is Night Live side, we're good.
Take it.
Road reclassification. This has grown quite a bit. But is the board. Cool with 5 roads?
21, 22, and 23 are on Mines Road. Same road, just. Well, Mines Road plus the spur to the cemetery.
Yeah,
Did you ever find out for sure whether or not? To me, when I read the Orange Book, it wasn't clear about who gets notice. Did you ever find out for sure whether everybody on the road needs to get notice or just affected property owners? I mean, everybody's affected, I think.
I think we should, this is one of those examples where we take precaution and we notice everyone who's adjoining each one of those roads gets a letter. The same letter, it's one letter that goes to all 3 roads. But I think it's best practice to over notice than to under.
I agree, totally.
so with that being said, we just need to set a date. 30 days out,
Maybe, could we make it 45 or 60 so we have time to write the letter and distribute?
Yeah.
okay, roll a date out.
Well, what if we did, the first meeting in September? That,
Well, it wouldn't be our first meeting, we'd have to have. Are you saying for the hearing here?
well, I think it would be, it's really nice if you can do the site visit at like 5 and do 5 o'clock at 47. 5:30 at this southern road and 6 there, and then reconvene here at 6:30. That way you get all your site visits in, you hold the hearing, and it kind of bangs it all out. A long night, but it's all done.
How's the board feel about that?
Something to think about is, if we do it on our first meeting on September, that would normally be September 1st, which is Labor Day.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking we're probably not gonna wanna have a select board meeting on Labor Day, but
I'd say go for it. I've said 5 years.
we can do it if we want. What do you think, Tom? You wanna do?
September 8th, it's awesome.
Huh?
September 8th looks great.
Yeah.
You're the one that was proposing it.
Or even, doing it on the 2nd, the Tuesday,
Oh, yeah.
but.
Can we do that?
I don't care. I'll meet on like.
Yeah, then you just start at like 4:30.
Want to do it? Does that work for?
That's gonna be. 20 minutes, 20-minute drive, 20 minutes, 20-minute drive, 20 minutes. We're lucky to get it done in 2 hours.
They're usually pretty quick. Site visits.
But
You don't have to like you're not holding the hearing about whether or not, you're just like observing the conditions. So, the board can move it along, say, okay,
Yes, and that's gonna be a situation where if people show up. The board chair is gonna have to say, the purpose of this is to view the road. We're gonna have a meeting afterwards. You come and say what you want then.
You're the road, so let's walk it.
I think that should be a very light meeting, just. With everything else.
Sure. We'll set a date.
Well, a line road, if you wanna go all the way over. The whole thing, but it's
I was gonna say the ATV club would be made for.
Oh, man, that would be awesome if they gave us all rides.
yeah.
Okay,
4:30. Right?
We're meeting,
Which also means we're gonna change our regular meeting from the 1st to the 2nd, right?
correct. Which you're gonna remind us at our second meeting in August.
Yeah, well, you're gonna see this letter that comes out, a draft that has the times, the locations. The whole, so then we'll have a couple of reminders before.
are we meeting here?
No.
Not at 47.
Okay.
4712 and then 21, 22, 23. Are we gonna need the recorder for that, Donna?
For just the site visit, I imagine that. You could just tell me what time it started and I can just have a couple sentences
Deal.
before went to visit the different roads. and
Perfect.
put them.
Okay, next up. Who wants to schedule a joint meeting?
Yeah, I think we need a joint meeting.
Topics? What would we like to cover?
I would love, if we could have an agreement on. Each joint property, one board being in charge of all actions, decisions. Up to a dollar amount, and then a joint meeting is called for anything over that. Yeah, so. Prime example was the hot water, We haven't heard a peep from the village, and so I'm gonna put all this time and energy in. To like research, the different options, right? Then just to, but I'm also don't even know if it's gonna happen, because. So it'd be really nice to just know, okay. The village is in charge of the municipal building. All the staff downstairs, instead of them trying to like figure out which office to go into, everyone knows. Hey, there's a problem at the village, you go, there's a problem at the municipal building, you go there. Problem at the lower storage building, you go to top. And it's like clean. And then up to say $5,000 and or up to $10,000 and anything over. And automatically triggers a joint meeting to solve it or something. But then it's just easy, makes it easy.
I'm just gonna throw out here that you remember when we went through an MOU process before.
That was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
Okay, That was not my perspective on it. But. I believe in that case. The town actually never signed the final. MOU agreement, so I guess my point is there is an MOU. Framework, at least.
I sent it to Tom.
You did.
It just doesn't define like. Who's responsible? It does say, it says they agree to pay, but it doesn't say like, I would like to like take it and add to it. Yeah. So then it's like black and white, everyone knows who's doing what.
Yeah, and there were also some problems. I guess the rule of unintended consequences from that first MOU. So my comment is, we need to think about this carefully.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other topics people would like to cover? Maybe just buying our own servers?
Yeah,
That's fair.
technology and I think. I know in our last meeting and previous meeting, we've talked about hiring a consultant to do a study on employees and. You know, I'm just one board member, but I feel it's really important that we do that kind of work, whether it's a subcommittee from both boards or a hired consultant with them, which I doubt they'll want to do, but we could ask them. I think it'd be important to look at town and village employees together because I think they interact and overlap way more than we realize. And if you want to keep dividing things, that's fine. I don't want that. But if we want to keep dividing things, then we need to know exactly like what issues we're gonna run into.
I'd like a finalized answer on the backhoe.
Yep. You know, Adrian, your comment about dividing thing. I guess I look at it in a slightly different way. We have talked a lot about merging. And it's pretty clear to me at least that ain't gonna happen. So in my mind, if it's not gonna happen, then I think we need to look at opportunities where we are not sharing employees or equipment or buildings as much as we can. So in my mind, it's almost like marriage or divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm more in the camp of divorce at this point in time, just as a practical matter, because it's too goddamn hard to deal with the things like Tom was talking about. Who fixes the water heater?
Mhm.
Well, whose responsibility is that? Is that a town or a village responsibility?
Yeah, I agree. It's way too hard and I want a merger. I want us to merge and I think that we can't ever separate fully. We can't have a full divorce. We have shared kids. We live in the same house. We're divorced and we live in the same house. Like, and even if we get separate houses, we still live in the same town and it just can't happen. We can't have a full divorce.
Well, we could. I would like to see, I believe there's a lot of reason to plan long-term for a merger because I believe it's gonna happen someday. I don't know when. It could be 50 years from now.
Mhm.
It's gonna happen someday. And my belief is that we should plan for it so that when it does happen, it could be kind of a seamless transition. But I think it was really clear at our two town meetings ago that there was enough people not in favor of that to not pass the article that we had out there. So to me,
Didn't it lose by one?
they lost by one vote. They lost by one vote.
Mhm.
But whether it lost by 1 or 100 kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it didn't pass. Had it passed, we would have had a study to look at the concept of
Yeah.
urgent, which I thought was a very reasonable thing to do.
Mhm. I think it's, yeah, I agree, I thought. I was disappointed that it lost, and I think it was a very reasonable thing to do, and I just think that we're kind of looking at it from one extreme or another, like, we're gonna keep separating and doing that, and. Maybe that is like laying groundwork for a possible merger someday, but right now, in the meantime, we're like. Adding more money to taxpayers by like having separate servers, separate websites, separate equipment, separate salt sheds, blah, blah, blah. You know, and just like the dysfunction is ridiculous.
Well, maybe at some point people will get sick of paying twice for everything and decide that merger's the right thing to do.
But I think people don't know they're even paying twice.
I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about divorce, marriage, whatever, I'm trying to look at it in terms of streamlining decisions. For future town employees, future town board members. Because there's already inefficiencies, while a server. Could very well cost a lot more than what's quoted. It is a piece of town equipment, right, The village didn't go have this on a wide format, right? Right, it's a town piece of equipment, when it fails, the town replaces it, the village probably uses it. For
Go ahead.
like that, but at least when it breaks. We don't have to. Go to the village and. Say, hey. We're gonna have to cough up $4,500. Cause even if they have the money and we have the money. Whether they come to us or we go to them, there's like an inherent grudge, it just feels like. One brother's pushing the other sister or vice versa. So, well, I agree with you. That it is adding money. I think it's adding. Better service to the taxpayers in the future.
Anyway, we can get here by 9:30, Mr. Chairman.
How about this? Because no select board members ever email me except for a few. How about you email me the list of joint meeting topics you want, or I'll email them to Adrian. I can email my list to you.
Of joint meeting topics.
Sure.
We've already discussed on that. The way things usually go, we're not gonna go anywhere anyway.
It's a very optimistic look. Next up, I think. Is Tom's. Asking for permission to sign the agreement with Du Bois and King. For the Johnson Visioning project. He sees no issues with the agreement, just looking to run it by the board again.
We added extensive language to the back, and they gave me like an abbreviated version. I signed the one that you guys saw, I gave it to them, and then what came back to me had all this additional language. And it felt unethical for me not to inform you of the change to language. It's pretty generalized, that's like, I don't see any risk to it, but it is. Feels like the right thing to do for you, you authorize my signature, I want you to know what you authorize me to sign. And then follow, because ultimately it's.
This is 100% needed, is it?
It's already, it's 100% grant funded, the $5,000 is from the VCRZ process, the vision process. And then, my community foundation approved covering the additional 1,400 shortfall. And we had a check today for $1,500 to cover that, so. We already have all the money,
For the $6,400.
yeah, we already have it in hand, it's just. A matter of.
So basically, you've already signed it, really, what you're looking for, and just providing the information to us that you signed it, and here are the attachments that we didn't see before.
Exactly, and I didn't know how to handle that, I felt really uncomfortable, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't agree to that.
He needs this.
And so I just felt like you should have full ability to just be aware.
Does anybody want to deny it?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Alright, motion,
Second.
second, further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey,
There you go, that's how that.
That's appropriate employment policy,
PA is. Oh, do we have to assign that?
yeah, it's sending it around.
CA and CEDS priority list, I have only heard from one board member. Guess which one? Anybody?
Duncan,
So
nobody wanna give a score on anything?
We're going to.
we had a list, but you were looking to score them, right?
That's all it was, you did fine.
Please respond to that, because I think it's really important.
I'm going to
going to-
send out everybody's scores in a sheet. Tomorrow.
I'm going to.
Did you send out something,
Yeah, it had all the bullet points.
boxes or something?
No, it just had the bullet points, so
Just-
it said like industrial park.
Yeah,
or
okay.
CEDA.
All right,
I just needed
Right, we're all
1 to
right.
10.
Yep.
10 being most important, 1 being least.
yeah, I apologize. I have started to do that twice. I will start a third time and finish.
And Adrian's on it. And Mike will get on it as well. Old business, any questions on that in Tom's report?
Like,
Do you wanna bring up the liquor license, cause we've approved those every other time,
Yeah.
Rosemary has a liquor license application.
On Studio Center, they have kind of these monthly parties that come. That's for
She basically wants to know if we're gonna disapprove it.
July 20th.
didn't we authorize
We
her
did.
to just sign those?
Yes, we did,
She does not like to do it.
so we're good. Talked about it. Any questions on other notes from Tom or old business?
I have just one, which is an observation, relative to. Meeting with Down Street about housing. And it. To some degree has some context with. Some of the discussions that we had earlier. I just want to be really careful that. We don't get ahead of ourselves as a board, to my. Knowledge at this point, the full board has not decided that that is a high priority. Based on. You know, the priority list. So while I'm in favor of. Not closing any doors, I. Just want to make sure that we don't make any representations to anybody. That this is a. Town or board policy or position.
Is that clear? I would echo that. Anything else on the further notes? No? We can come back to him. Tom has an update about a skate park hydrant that he added at the beginning of the meeting.
So, Evan and I have been, Evan's been watching from afar, it's not even seeing emails. There's a leak at the skate park, nobody knows where it is. The village shut the water off to the skate park and I've checked in with Jason, he does not have the time to address it. I asked Casey that, told her that, look, you gotta work within your budget to repair this, that at this time, town. The highway department doesn't have the availability to address this, so the skate park has to address it on. Their own, and just, could you get some quotes from contractors, see what it costs to repair it? And just throw out some quick suggestions about how to make those repairs easier and more affordable. And. So now she wants to have a meeting with Howard, myself, and I'm not sure if you're invited or not. You were
I don't think I was invited.
Do they know where the leak is?
No.
I mean, is it coming to the ground?
No. And so. Casey and Howard wanna dig up the hydrant. And. I have a lot of experience dealing with water leaks underground. It costs a lot of money to find a leak. Once you find it, it's pretty cheap to fix. But finding it is you're ripping apart water line. An excavator can't really dig up a water line well. And so, of
Oh, it
course,
can dig it up really well.
It's entire, what is the problem?
it's
It's
just,
not difficult to find a one.
if you would volunteer your time, it would be greatly appreciated.
Do they have the proper equipment? Do they have any listening devices?
I was gonna say, doesn't the village have one?
Yeah, don't they have?
Nate has made it clear that this is on the private side of that. I mean, I'm asking for help. You know, if this, I don't know how to do this. If it were me,
They won't do it.
They being the village. Is it? I just don't think it's.
I tell you, we were village of Morrisville Water and Light, but we helped the town out all the time.
So I think we either need to make a formal request to the village, and they're probably gonna bill us, or we need.
Well,
My suggestion was to dig it up where we know. Where it's between the community garden and the existing bowl, and then just move the hydrant. To where now two groups can use it rather than just the skate park and then running a hose to the community.
do they have a point A and a point B, they know the approximate location where the water line is,
Yes,
then it's very easy to find it. If you've got, they're like a geophone type thing, it's like a rod that goes into the ground, and you just listen.
the town does not have it. I don't know if the village does.
They do.
Would the board like me to make a formal request to the village for help?
Would like you to ask the village to work together as a team. And if they don't want to. What is it, button underground locators right in Cambridge, all that stuff. Maybe I'm way overthinking this one, just dig it up. Do you know for certain that the leak is between where you wanna dig it up and the equipment?
I have,
It's a general question.
most people, most committees. They say there's a problem, you say, okay, sorry, the highway crew can't. I'm just like a mediator of information, I'm not actually solving that problem. And so I don't know much about it, I was under the impression that they were gonna say, okay, we have a problem, we're gonna come back to. The board with a suggested solution. We don't have that yet, and so. The highway department normally was would have taken care of it. We would never have known it was wrong, we would have got an update later, but now they don't have time to do that. And so the solution is to use private funding or volunteers. And I thought that, I was hoping that the skate park could come to the board and say, we would like to do, this is what we need to solve this problem.
What kind of water leak is it? Is it a water service leak?
To the best of my recollection, the hydrant, the frost-free hydrant is. They tapped into a line that was serving part of the old mobile park. So it's probably a black plastic 3/4 inch service. That is, God only knows how old it is. And it was probably a 60 PSA line when they put it in on Kentucky.
So it was a curb valve that they shut down, correct? Okay, so it's just a biggie. So they need water down there at that skate park.
They do, they have a summer camp on August 1st, they would like to have it resolved by then.
And the frost-free hydrant is now down close to where the old storage building was.
That's right, it was moved closer to the storage building and the line runs underneath the new half pipe.
That's probably where the leak is.
The irony is that's where the most recent cut and connector was put in. So there's a really high probability that's where I would look for the first leak. But that's why moving back to where they know it comes in to a place. The other issue is the community garden brings their own water in. When we have water on site, it's just too far away. It's on the opposite side of the skate park. But skate park and the community garden are 10 feet apart. You could putting it right between the two means both parties benefit. So that's why I was suggesting that. It's kind of it's a double win. Hey, we're solving the problem, but we're also making it easier for the community garden.
Did I miss something along the way? What makes them think there's a leak?
It was leaking.
The water
The
bill.
village has like the
The
meter.
water bill.
Yeah, and so as soon as they identified it, they ran down, they. Shut it off and Marla emailed me, Jason, and Casey.
Does that come out of their budget, the water bill, skate park budget?
I don't know. I don't know that much information about it. I don't know if we actually have a meter or not.
That's why if the skate park was its own entity, then they would be taking care of their own situations.
I mean. I think I think there's gonna be some learning curves here from what. For a few years, people got really used to having the highway crew do a lot. And they can't do it anymore, and I think this is a growing pain where there's gonna have to be, when things go wrong. There's gonna have to be some autonomy and then delays in those repairs. And that's different, you know. Committees, I'm sure, places where they don't have access.
I mean, this is essentially a town park. So we should take care of it.
Beauty, they budgeted $5,000 for site maintenance and repairs.
So then they can. take
Is that
care
why
of it.
26? Seems like they have money to repair, right?
I don't know their budget,
It's right
I
here.
mean, like their budget, like what they need to buy or do. With their budget,
Maintenance and repairs, what were they planning on maintaining or repairing?
I don't know, that'd be a question for them.
Who was that company down in Cambridge? Just mentioned a minute ago.
But underground located. Sure they have devices or whatever.
Yeah.
But if the village is willing to just go out there and listen. Whatever, we're still gonna have to repair it.
So ask the village.
The first step would be to find out where the leak is, if you possibly can. So now I'll. That with a little work, they could find a volunteer to come in and. Dig a hole and effect a repair.
Probably. Or take it out of their maintenance repair side. There's mud.
So they would hire someone? They would hire someone?
Well, the town would hire them, but the money comes out of the skate park's budget.
Okay,
But like, so say you have a committee. Do you want a select board micromanaging your every decision? Or do you want to take, you're the committee, you want to say, okay, we have a problem. Select board, this is our best solution, this is what we'd like to do, and the select board say, yeah, go for it.
I wanna do the fun stuff, cause I'm a volunteer, I don't wanna do the hard stuff.
So how do you suggest, I mean, I don't, this is just. What do you want to do? So how would you, what do you want this to be? Like, how do you want the problem to be solved?
I just want us to figure out and pay for it and do it.
Okay, so you want, and so who, do you want the board to direct the highway department, the town administrator, or other? Does the board want to take on the role? Like, it doesn't matter, just that direction needs to be clear.
I think we could just tell the highway department to do it. Time, do it.
That's one member. Peter. Duncan, Mike. I think they're taxed enough already.
The highway department.
Yeah.
They skate park budgeted for repairs and maintenance.
I
It's a
will
repair and
say,
maintenance.
the
Get
highway
it done.
department starting their grant,
Or-
that's not completed, paperwork and all by September 30th, we do not get that. $28,000.
Or ask for volunteers.
Yeah.
Any of them.
I personally don't think it should be a high priority for the highway department. I think there's the ability to hire or get some volunteers. I mean, if they can figure out where the damn leak is, I'll get on with my own little backhoe and dig it up. I think I could dig that deep with it.
How long would it take the highway department? I would just think like an hour or so.
Wow,
Well, it might take an hour if they could figure out where the leak is, but if they can't figure out where the leak is, you're talking about digging up the entire line. That's a lot more than an hour.
just loading up the excavator that's on rental. Driving it down there, unloading it, loading it back up and taking it to Gold Hill will take 2 guys 2 hours.
Well, they could do it with backup just as
They
easy.
could, certainly. But they're trucking and.
How long is the water line? You know?
I don't know any details, I was,
Well, you know where the storage building is in the skate park? So from the road in must be what, 150, 200 feet? Maybe?
If it's the same, if you think it's crummy stuff, it'd be better off to dig it up, put some wood stuff back.
To the best of my recollection, and Howard would probably know, I think they tapped into. One of the old 3/4 inch service lines that served. The trailer park down there, and that line's gotta be what? 40, 50 years old.
So they stabbed into an old service.
Alright, we're getting into like minute details. I think Tom's asking how to solve the problem. I am. Ask the village if they'll help find the lake for the listening equipment. They won't. I'm up with a plan. Hire it done or get a volunteer to dig it up. Where's everybody at?
Yeah, what was the story with the village? I mean, this is their business, right? Water,
But they're only responsible from the curb back. Like this is.
Utilities own, yeah, exactly what Tom said.
okay,
So anything after that curve, you're on your own. So we would be asking them, and they would, I'm sure they'll do it. Whether or not they charge us or not, it's, yeah, no, but you got, that's why I'm asking, like, you're willing to, but know there might be a bill to follow. Find that leak.
Well, if there is a bill, I'm sure it will be right up there.
I think that you're using the majority of a shared building and we're working with them to complete their garage project. Don't see why they can't go out there for free and locate the leak. If that's like a huge lift for them, we'll figure something
That
out.
would have been just a no-brainer a few years ago.
Yep, for sure.
Can you CC us on the email? If you're emailing it to Nate or Eric or whoever, or are you gonna ask in person?
Probably have to be
Steve
here.
Jones,
I guess I was unclear what we meant, like. you were
They
talking
work
about.
together.
So you,
like this.
I will email Nate and I will copy you.
Okay.
I think we should email Eric.
Can you email Eric too? Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Meeting adjourned at 9:40. That was the skate park, we're on, or we're on time, but.